We got Jeff playing a song.
Let's do it. So this is that new song I sang yesterday. Dawn knows it. You don't, but yeah, we'll see if I can get through it.
But I love it. I like to hear it again. Yeah.
Out there at night we ramble, under the stars we roam. We'll take off when we want to. We'll never call it home. You'll see us in the shadows, hear us in the hall. The wind will blow the stars away, and you thought nobody knows. Shortly after midnight, when shadows fill the air, you scream to break the silence, but no one seemed to care. They'll take when they... Okay, I'm going to start over since it's just the three of us, and I've already messed up several times. So let me get this going one more time. Out there at night we ramble, under the stars we roam. We'll take off when we want to. We'll never call it home. Then you'll see us in the shadow, hear us in the hall. The wind will blow the stars away, and you thought nobody knows. Shortly after midnight, when whispers fill the air, you scream to break the silence, and no one seemed to care. And they'll take off when they want to, leave you so alone. You'll do your best to stop them, and they'll never call it home. Now good news just sounds clearer, bad news cold and fair. They told you twice already, and you still don't seem to care. They'll take off when they want to, leave you left alone. Out and I messed up again. I was almost done. I'm gonna start just at the last verse. And good news sounds much clearer, and bad news cold and fair. And they've told you twice already, but you still don't seem to care. Out there at night they ramble, amongst the stars they roam. They'll when they want to, and they'll never call it home. It's on that. I'll let
Wow.
Don play and I'll try that again. I'm stuck.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So Jeff, I have to say again, I think I said that on this forum, whatever this is. But I like watching you practice. I mean, it's okay that whole thing of like Ocean is this guitarist, really amazing, Alexei, just Russian classical guitarist, and he's so good and he's so apologetic, and
Yeah.
it's all he's stopped. It's like, I'm so sorry. No, it's okay, man. I mean, because you don't say this again. You don't say this to like an 8-year-old who's just starting to play the banjo or whatever. But when you get to this level, it's very enjoyable for me to listen to you do that. It's not like I'm hoping you make a mistake, but it doesn't
Right.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Really enjoyed that.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that again, I think I told you yesterday. It's like I found that song from a while back, and I hadn't. Yeah, I hadn't. It came back to me, which was nice because sometimes I'll write this stuff down and then I'll forget the melody and all the rest. And it's
Yeah,
I try to do a quick recording just so I can come back and hopefully remember it. But
that's a good idea.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I was asked if how I remember the songs that I play, and I don't, I don't write anything. That's a good idea. I do record some of them. I have recorded them um, for some friends and that. So, but I'll go back and listen. Like an MP3 that I had for a oh God, it's Good Morning Blues, Brownie McGee, and I thought, God, that sounds really good. I recorded it about 5 years ago, and I thought, damn it, I can't play it like that anymore. So I've got to get back to it. I mean, that's it's just 12 bar blues, but
right.
there were some things in there, some little riffs that I didn't remember how I did those because I don't use any music or tablature or anything, and even if it says D, E minor or whatever. A lot of what I do is an alternate way of playing that I learned that I stole from someone else, so that I don't really know. A lot of it comes back just in terms of muscle memory, I guess. But
Yeah.
that's a good idea to record it. So what do you when you say it from a while back? How long ago? I mean, how long
Well,
was it?
when I was probably not more than a couple months. It was when I was quarantined in Seattle. That
Oh,
was,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
I thought you meant like 15 years ago or something.
No, I got some of those too, but yeah. But if you got an iPhone or any of those, iPhone comes with this thing called music memos that you can record, and then just the phone itself has some voice memo stuff on it. So I always use that for just kind of either trying to come up with lyrics or trying to keep a melody where I won't forget it.
Hmm. Hmm. So you record on Music Memo, and that's just like making a digital recording. I mean, it doesn't
Kind of, yeah.
it
I
doesn't
use
transcribe the chords or anything.
it does actually. It does, and you can actually
Ah,
add a bass and a drum to it that always sounds horrible, but at least
it's like a cheap band that always shows
it
up
is. It is.
in your pocket.
It's like the Casio synthesizer.
Well, yeah, just about.
Uh,
Yeah. Are you playing tonight, Don? I know your fingers were hurting yesterday.
I actually, this is crazy. Yeah, Ocean, I bruised my fretting fingers, and I think it's because I was just playing resonator guitar, really getting back into bottleneck slide since about October for about 5 months, and I just stopped playing my other stuff, my ballads and other blues and all that, just getting into the gospel blues of the 30s. And I'd done that. I mean, I played that stuff before, but I hadn't played it for a long time. So to get back, and I acquired this resonator guitar, and I hadn't had one for a while. Anyway, I think what happened was about 5 weeks ago, about the time when I met you, Ocean, met Jeff, and started doing these things, I started practicing too much. I mean, I've been practicing a lot to try to get those songs back. And I realized had nothing to do with you, Ocean, but after last week, Tuesday, all three of these fingers were really, really sore. Not the calluses, but like the tissue underneath them. So on top of this, last night I thought I'm really getting a lot better. I'm not going to play Monday night, but I'm going to start playing again Tuesday. That's a week off, and a fucking wasp stung me on the knuckle
Oh,
of my middle finger,
I'll
and you
do it.
think that hurt. I mean, this looked like a rude gesture. This is for that wasp. It was not. Thank God it wasn't a murder hornet.
murder, murder hornet.
I'd be in traction now. I'd have a cast on my hand. I'd be dead. It was just a plain old, wasp. But and not a, here's the irony. I had a little. There's like a gel thing that you can freeze or heat, for sore parts,
Yeah.
and I had it. It was heated. I had that on my hand and was lying on a couch in our living room, and suddenly it was just like this gigantic spike went into my middle finger, right,
Oh,
right
thank
on the knuckle. I thought, God damn it! It was almost dark, and I jumped up, and I thought that the gel had split open, and maybe the hot whatever that stuff is, blue stuff
Oh,
inside of it, had spilled on me. And I jumped up and said all kinds of things, and looked, and here was this wasp walking away from my
Wow.
ruined knuckle.
Yeah. Ow.
And it's,
damn.
anyway, long story, but what I realized today that I can play bottleneck slide
I was
because
gonna say, I
I just let the slide do all the work.
was gonna say, there's no excuse not to put a
I
slide.
don't have to. Yeah, there's hardly any fretting, so I can just. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna change my chair. So Ocean, why don't you tell us a story, do something, and let me just get my other chair over. And I'm listening. Or Jeff, you can practice. I'm right here, but you don't have to watch me do this. So
What's your setup there, Don? You got your it disappeared.
no, I'm here. Is
Oh
it
yeah.
real?
Your
Are you
video
playing
went
through a
out.
mic or anything? You got headphones on. Do you play
Yeah.
through a mic also, or do you
Is
just
it
play?
really? Is it loud or too
No,
soft?
I
Or
was just curious
Louder.
what your
Yeah.
setup was.
it's louder than it was.
It's a
Well,
good
actually,
song. It's a good solid signal.
I think it sounds good. Okay, so you got a mic.
I just bought this guy this Audio Technica,
Okay.
and it has this cool little thing where my headphones are actually plugged into it,
Nice.
so I can hear, instead of it just being dead when I'm playing, I can hear myself. But I experimenting with it, and last week I think my sound kept falling off or something. But it's okay now? It sounds okay.
Yeah, you sound wonderful.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah. I just
good.
bought a. I was telling Ocean, I got a little audio interface too that came with a mic and a Focusrite, and so I've just been starting to play. I've been busy with work, so
Uh-huh.
uh, I bought a toy and I can't play with it. I've just been working, but yeah, hopefully I'll be getting more into that. I'll
But
be
it sounds good. Is it hooked up now? Is that what you're using
No,
now?
I'm just using the Mac, just straight into the Mac here.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, the same
Is that
one
Sounds
that's
just
good.
dying yesterday. So
it's the Mac
Yeah,
microphone too?
right through the computer mic.
right through the computer mic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Okay, so I'm still here, but I'm just going to change chairs.
okay.
You don't have to watch me to do that.
We need to get more people lined up for this thing.
I've
Ocean.
been sending stuff out. I'm thinking of changing it up again and doing a lot of personal invitations and maybe make it
Okay.
open mic / performer spotlight, and then invite
Yeah.
performers to come on and promote their band camps and just you
Sure.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I
Yeah.
do send it out, but I need to switch it up. But it's maybe trying to do it every week is too much. I don't know. I like it, but
I like it too. Like I said, my work buried me the last 2 weeks. Unfortunately, that was
there were like 6 or 7 last week. It's about that, but it takes a while for them to show up. So
stragglers.
I
Yeah.
gotta invite my friends on the East Coast, but then it's like 2 hours, 3 hours.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah, our Sunday night, I guess we have somebody from Austin that
so what's your
tunes in for
what
our
is the thing you're
Sunday.
doing Sunday night? Where's that?
There's a music store in Ballard, or I guess it's Fremont anyway. It's called Dusty Strings.
Dusty Strings.
And when there isn't a COVID pandemic going on, every Sunday from 2:30 to 4:30, you go down to the shop there and you just do a little song circle. They call it
Oh.
as best you can. So there's no high expectations. Everybody, and it's where you can kind of come and really mess it up or play a song you've written and all that, and nobody
Best
judges
as you
you.
can. I like that.
Yeah, and some good feedback, and if you want feedback, people give it to you. If you're trying to work something out on a part, people can give you some input on that. So it's nice. And
So they're doing that on Zoom too.
what are we're using
Skype.
Skype for that one, but
Yeah.
I think Zoom is better. The lady that puts it together, Jelaine, I think she was toying with trying Zoom, but I don't know if she's ever gotten very far with that.
Yeah, I bought the account, man. We could have 100 people on this one.
Yeah. I keep well. I've sent invitations out, and all my song people are huddled in.
Yeah, we'll keep building it up. We will.
Yeah, yeah. In fact,
All right, look at that guitar, Don.
So has Jeff? Did you go to as best you can when it was in Fremont at Dusty Strings?
I only made it to two of them
Hmm.
before the pandemic snuffed it all out. I'd been wanting to go. I've been so crazy busy with work, and I was in Seattle for about 3 months before I was able to get to that first one. And I didn't have a car in Seattle. I was just relying on a bicycle, and I kept trying to convince Jelaine to let me bring my mandolin in, so I wouldn't have to haul a guitar on my back of my bike. But I finally got it worked out. But
Yeah. Yeah, because it's Ocean. It's acoustic guitars only. It's
Ah,
just it's so she actually and Jeff. I went to the first two in 2016, or maybe she might have had. I think it was maybe the first, like in April or May of 2016, and it was just Jelaine and me,
is
and
that
we
right? Yeah.
just yeah. So we played for in Dusty Strings, but I
Yeah.
had to drive down from Bellingham and to go down there, 2 hours down and then there for 2 hours and then drive 2 hours back. It's so I
Yeah.
went to one more and there were four of us for that one, and that was kind of interesting. Although actually, there was one guy there that the idea, Ocean, is you play a song and then Jelaine keeps it moving pretty much. It's not she wouldn't stand for this. It's like okay, next, Jeff, you're on. And I understand that because she wants to. We've had I don't know, like I think last week there may be 7 people, and she wants to get the circle around so you get a chance to play at least 2 or 3 times. Um, but there was a guy that second time that I went to Seattle who, would say, "Well, that was really good. Really liked that." And that was kind of a stretch, but anyway, he was trying, but then he'd say, "Oh, well, I got another one," and
Oh,
then and then it was, and it went on and on and on. So I ended up playing, I guess I played 2 songs. So it was just a long drive to do that.
play a couple songs. Yeah, that's
Yeah, so I was really glad that she started this. She started this back up about 5 weeks ago on Skype and got in touch with me because over the years, over the 4 years, I've said, well, maybe try to come down. It was once a month, and then at some point, I just thought I'm never going to Seattle again. Or if I do, I'm not going to go all the way down there for 2 hours and then come back.
oh yeah.
So it's kind of nice to have this now. Really, both this one too, for sure. Really, really enjoyed it. Is that coming through?
yes, sounds good.
Good. Okay. Okay, this is a little song called Lazy Blues. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
An original?
It is, yeah, as much as they can be. All these little licks that you look at and pick up and
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of twist them around and then pretend they're your own.
That was nice.
Yeah, thank you.
What open open G or D? Which one are you?
Open D, yeah. Most I play walking blues in open G and Come On in My Kitchen, Robert Johnson song in open G. But most of what I do is in open D. So yeah, don't ever have to change tunings.
And I think everything I've got right now is standard tuning. I usually try to keep at least a couple guitars around in different tunings, but
Uh-huh.
lately I've been like
Yeah.
tune it up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Always fun to play with.
So that didn't even hurt my fingers. So that was
Yeah.
nice.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. And there's another one I'll play later that I actually don't do any fretting at all. It's all just the slide. So give them a break. I think they're okay now. And actually, even the wasp bite. I mean, I'll tell you what. Last night, because that happened about 10 o'clock last night, and ice and Benadryl and but I woke up a lot in the night just thinking, God, geez, what if I wake up
Oh,
my fingers the size of a bratwurst or
oh
something?
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Oh man, but it's fine. It's almost good now. But I'll tell you what, I'm keeping a close eye for critters.
yeah. No kidding. Wow. They're invading the house, no less. Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
They're out now. Well, there's bee sting therapy. It's good for arthritis and all that. So it's good for you.
Well, it's funny because I was just talking to Carrie, my wife, earlier about I can't remember in what context exactly, but this idea of how this came up. Constantly trying to escape pain through medication, and I guess it was a matter of the whole thing of experiencing loss, but the difficulty that our culture in particular has in grieving, the grieving process, because you don't want to talk about it, you don't want to deal with it. You go through the 5 stages or whatever, but get on with it. Um, Instead of just kind of realizing how important that could be to your growth, to your mental growth. But the whole thing of physical pain and thinking, well, as soon as I have a headache, I got to get rid of it. I have a backache, got to get rid of that. I've got to do whatever. I want to make my life this sort of mundane pablum of mediocrity in the middle where there's nothing too painful or too extreme anywhere. And about an hour later, that fucking wasp stung me. It was quick, Benadryl, ice. I do not want to. I do not want to experience this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No
So maybe
pain,
that was
no
my
gain.
karma. I don't know.
Indeed,
Right.
indeed.
Well,
That
there's
wasp
something
was
about
sent to me
there's something about
as a
resilience.
test. This is a test. Oh
Remember that
God.
study they did of the immune
I
system of
don't
sewer
recall.
rats versus lab rats, and the lab rats had no immunity, but the sewer rats were really immune to all kinds of stuff?
Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm. There you go.
Hi, Dharmika. How are you?
Hi,
Hey,
I'm plugging away on my May commitment to write a song a day
Oh,
Wow. Amazing.
song
excellent.
today. Good
so
for you.
far.
That's crazy. That's great.
Do you have one for us? You just dropped in and it's your turn.
Tons of them. Let's see, it's on Dharmika Music on Facebook. I just put it on the chat. It's like a pinned post, and then
Okay.
what I'm doing is since Facebook doesn't take sound, and I'm not doing videos of these half done, unpolished songs. So I put them on SoundCloud on private links, and then I'm posting them like under the comments under that post. So anyway, yeah, all kinds of interesting stuff's been coming up. Let's see.
Good.
Oh, yeah, this was a story about my. Yeah, I start writing usually late, like 12 at night or so, and all kinds of weird things happen at those hours.
Right.
The witching hour.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, let's see. So yeah, oh, I see. I need the back of this page. I'm very confused. I have so many songs that I'm all learning. So, all right, here we go. Verse, verse, chorus, verse, bridge. All right, we'll see how it goes. All right. Hear me all right? I was just 13 when I went out west, and I sure did not fit in. The kids were singing Kumbaya, and I took off walking. Came to a gate and went in. I was met by gentle, deep brown eyes. Then I touched her trembling skin. Soft and slow, day by day, until she let me in. And we took off running together as one, running free under open skies, running free under open skies, running free under open skies, running free under open skies. We ran across the desert sand, and we rested in the shade, where I lay across her back in silence and in grace, in silence and in grace. I'm sure that she was made of stars and dreams of gentle rain. And when that wind begins to blow, she taught me how to just let go. I'd fly with the wind in her mane, together as one, running free under open skies, running free under open skies, running free under open skies, running free under open skies. I've had my share of loves in life, and I've had my share of pain, but my first love was that fine bay man, and I'd do it all again. I'd do it all again. Together as one, running free under open skies, running free under open skies, running free under open skies, running free under open skies. Together as one.
Nice. You wrote that today?
No, that was, let's see, I look at the date.
What? She,
That was the 5th.
there you go.
Wow. In one day. You're doing one a day.
Yeah. Well, they're not all like this one. This one, came out pretty complete, but there, some of them are like less complete.
Mhm.
The half done. I got a bunch of those too. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but I'm still recording them. It's like I'm I figured
Okay.
I'm gonna share the process, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm still throwing it up on and just yeah, just to keep a commitment, you know, just do it. However it comes
Excellent.
out. So,
Yes.
but yeah, I really like that one. I hope you guys did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
Nice memories.
great.
And you write them all in one setting, or do you get part of it and then come back and revisit it, or do you?
Um, yeah, well, some of them like have been coming. Like I was out at the river a couple days ago, and I had little pieces of it come, you know, and then I do later. But a lot of them it's just pretty much. And there's still one like from a few days ago where I wrote all the verses out. I wrote the whole song out, but I'm still not happy with the melody. You know, it's just like yeah. I don't have time to spend a lot more time on each one either. So, but I'm giving them each a few days to sort of before I try to throw a track down that I'm gonna let people hear. That's a fun process.
Yeah.
It's been fun, especially doing it late at night. You know, like a lot of weird stuff comes out, old memories. So I don't know, you know, things I haven't remembered. I wrote one about a solo hiking experience. You know, I hadn't thought about that in years. You know,
Yeah.
I hadn't
Interesting.
thought about that.
So, Dharmika, how are you sharing these? Your
Um,
circle of
yeah, so I have a
creativity.
Facebook page called Dharmika Music, and then there's a
It's in the chat.
yeah, I put it in the chat. There's a pinned post at the top of the Facebook page, and then I'm doing SoundCloud links under each comment. So like I'm asking, I haven't had many. My daughter is the only one who made a reply, but I'm asking people to make a reply to a song so I don't have comments and the songs. Anyway,
That's
it's
nice.
fun.
It's,
Yeah, check it out. See, let me know if you like something. Not many people have seen the post, but not many people have actually listened to my songs except like my daughter.
Well, you have a constant audience, so
But it's fun. I mean, I figure it's about the process. I'm not going to worry about who does or doesn't listen to it. I mean,
sure.
yeah.
I'm
Right.
proud of songs that I'm writing.
Yep.
I feel like seeing if I can do it.
That's what it is. It's a creative outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Absolutely.
really important. On the other hand, we could just play a stereo and hear somebody play stuff way better than we are. So,
I'm
why
finding
why be creative?
I'm finding I have, you know, definitely some ruts, you know, of like certain sort of ballady things, and I have to like consciously like that one, that Running Free. I think that some of them I have to really make an effort to have a different beat to write to. Otherwise, I end up with this sort of ballady thing
Yeah.
without thinking. So I've definitely got quite a few in 3/4 ballady time, but I've got a few others, and I'm doing things like where I'm doing just melodic choruses, not worrying about words as much, you know, trying to get out. Some of them I'm trying to get out of some habits, you know,
Hmm.
see how it goes. I'm doing 3 different songwriting things this month, so I figured.
What do you mean?
Well, there's the Berklee School of Music has a free songwriting class by Pat Pattison. I highly recommend it. So that's an ongoing thing for a few more weeks. And I don't know if you can start now or if you have to start with the next round. And then there was a songwriting weekend a couple of weekends ago that I went to on Zoom. And then there's one coming up if you guys are interested. There's a guy named, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Pete Kartsunis. I could find the link for it if you want. He's doing one this weekend.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun. He's a good writer. He lives over in Bend, so
Very
I'll
cool.
get that link and put that up.
So,
Okay.
Ocean, a technical thing. When I go to look for these chat notes later, and I don't seem to be able to find.
I think it's set where you can save them. There's a little next to the box where you enter. It says save chat,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't been doing that.
but it'll
So
disappear if you were to log out and log back in. It won't be there. So it's
Okay.
only while you're in the Zoom. This chat will be a long stream, but then you have to save it or it just disappears.
Okay.
Good to know. Okay. Very good. Excellent. Good to
Got
know.
it.
Jeff, you got another song?
Yeah.
All right.
Get another one going. This is yeah. Let's see. Grab my other guitar here. see what comes out. So another original, all about a crazy night of binging. How about that? Milo and Jimmy, they went out for a ride. Just 20. Whoops! Right off the bat, man. I'm flubbing up tonight. Good. Let's start over. Milo and Jimmy, they went out for a ride. Took $20, it had nowhere to hide. That $20, it didn't last long. 1/8 ounce of weed and some whiskey that's strong. Come at midnight, they ran into Lucille. They were looking to score. She was looking to deal. Rolled down that alley looking scared and alive. Feet on the ground, heads 10 miles in the sky. Stumbling and acting the fools, pissing off the neighbors and breaking the rules. Dogs barking, lights coming on. By the time they start looking, we'll already be gone. Milo and Jimmy, they went out for a ride. Took $20, it had nowhere to hide. That $20, it didn't last long. 1/8 ounce of whiskey and something else. Anyway, that's I messed it up, but I figure if you don't know the ending to the song yet, you just do the first verse over again and call it done.
That works.
Repeat. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, there you go. Nice one.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. And there's the other part. If you don't know any more words, you just start to hum.
Or you say guitar now and then just play a couple.
Yeah, there's that.
Instrumental.
I was a virtuoso, and I was telling the guys at Dusty Strings the other day that as any good songwriter should, I need to learn how to play harmonica because you gotta be able to play the guitar and harmonica at the same time.
I love it when there's a harmonica sitting there and you just start going like.
Be the honest.
Such a talent, yeah.
Yeah. Walking and chewing gum for me, but I'm working.
But Jeff, you mentioned that the other day, and one of these songs that I stumbled upon that I had recorded is oh God, which one is it? It's a Bob Dylan song, and I'm going to go back because I thought, man, I did a pretty good job of that. It wasn't "Girl from the North Country," but it was one of his early songs, and I did, it was, and you're right. I mean, there was my harmonica. I mean, it was just an MP3, but it was just like 3 notes, but it sounded great. It was so cool. But the thing for me was to keep on doing what I'm doing.
Keep that rhythm chop
while you're doing this, and it's not the same as singing. It's like, wait a minute. Anyway, practice.
Yeah.
Practice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that sometime, one of these nights.
Yeah.
I gotta invite my friend Ben.
I'll warn the Dusty Strings crowd before I break out the harmonica. Delane will even allow it. She'll be like, no, nothing that in there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sneak it in.
Yeah, if you poked around, Don, on the YouTube channel for me, there's this Ben Small does this harmonica. It's on the YouTube from the original open mic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you mean so he's doing that while he's playing guitar?
No, he just plays harmonica, but he's one of those ones that just like got different hands, and he goes back and forth, and he's circular breathing, so it's just constant.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's on my YouTube. If you go to the YouTube where I've posted these, go back to the open mic, and that was just back in January, I think.
Wow, yeah, I'll look for that. But people think of that as just being an accessory to go along with a Dylan type song, for example. I mean, he did so much of that with folk music, but
Yeah.
my God, that's like saying, okay, so most people who play ukulele, can play basic or intermediate or even advanced, but they're not Jake Shimabukuro. you know, that guy starts playing Beethoven and Mozart, and my God, we saw him here in Bellingham a couple of years ago. Whew, it's amazing. So, Ocean, something from you. We haven't heard any
No, you're next.
words. What we,
You're next. You're
what
next.
about what me?
You.
Okay,
I'm not ready.
my
That
wasp.
didn't work in. I would have been more persistent yesterday because I know you play slide, and I was like, I knew your fingers were hurt, but shouldn't stop me.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that yesterday, but because I told Ocean I was just going to be, maybe reading a couple of things, but
Pestered you more had I known, or if my computer wouldn't have crashed on me repeatedly either.
oh yes.
Oh, that was a mess. Yeah.
Okay, so I will play a Mississippi Fred McDowell song. You Got to Move. This is one of those gospel songs that were, made into blues. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. When the ball gets ready, you got to move. You may be high, you may be low, you may be rich, child, you may be poor. But when the Lord gets ready, you got to move.
about to move.
Oh,
Thank you. Thanks.
Awesome.
It's hard to do that convincingly with my my white face. It really is. It's like, oh God. Oh well. Do the best. I mean, look at Eric Clapton could do it. Hey.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You can get away with it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
there's
that's
no white boy reggae here, okay?
there you go.
Come on.
Yeah, yeah.
That was great, Don. Thanks.
Thank you. This is a guitar I bought. It's a Gretsch that I bought in. I think I played one of those songs, didn't I, Jeff? You've seen this before?
Yeah, I've seen your Gretsch.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, because I had another resonator. It was a cutaway. It was actually kind of nice having that because it's nice to get up there high without having to stretch your fingers over it and
Yeah.
bend your wrist. But I just thought I really want to get back into that, and so I bought this last fall, and it was like $300 or something. And I guess I've never played a National, the official Cadillac of the resonator guitars, but I don't know. I mean, it's good enough for me. I mean, I can really tell difference in quality of regular acoustic guitars, but with this, I don't know. I don't think I'd spend $4,000 for a National. Somebody gave me one, especially an old beat up one that used to belong to Robert Johnson or something. I'd take it, but I don't think he had a $4,000 guitar though.
Probably had one just like that. Yeah. No, it sounds good.
It
Does that have
does.
electronics on it?
I love that guitar. Yeah,
Yeah.
love fun.
Yeah. Does it have
Pardon?
electronics, Don?
No,
No.
and actually, I had a resonator that was it had electronics, and I swear when I plugged that into my amplifier, to me it lost its charm. In fact, what I would do, I have a microphone in the other room that is hooked up to my amp, and it sounded good through a mic because it sounded like a resonator guitar. But plugging it in, it just sort of took the juice out of it.
Yeah.
To me, yeah.
I've got a few of those too. Yeah. The acoustic electrics that don't sound very good when you plug them in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Dharmika, you got another one?
Thinking about it. Just got a volume.
You're still muted.
Of course.
Hey, Doc.
There you are.
All right. Why don't I try this? Let's see. It's today Monday. This is from Saturday.
I was gonna say you date your songs too. I never put a date on my songs. And the other day when I was revisiting that old one, I was thinking to myself, it's like how long ago was it I wrote that? So I might start dating my songs. I kind of like it when I don't. It's kind of a mystery. When was it written, and where were you at when you did write it?
Yeah, but Jeff, for your archives, I mean, someday somebody's going to look back and they'll say, okay, this was one of his early 90s songs.
Early stuff, yeah.
And then they'll realize it's exactly the same ink that was on the 2008 song because you wrote it at the same time.
Yeah,
Somebody will find that out.
well, they'll be like, he must have been in quarantine. It must be 2020 because he's written a lot, and it must be quarantine, man. Yeah.
Do carbon dating on your ink.
They will.
Well, these I have to date because I mean, I've got to keep track of what I'm doing here. This is like overwhelmingly.
That's right. Yeah, since you're on a mission. Yeah.
So within a few days of doing it, I have to get it recorded because my head is like roaming into all kinds of other melodies after that. So,
Yep.
Wow.
oh
Yep.
yeah, this is quite fun. Okay, so this was, I think it's kind of like a kid's song. But yeah, this is one where I went with a sort of a melodic chorus without much to it, but I think it adds to the song, so I'm glad I found a chorus. And this one, little pieces of it were coming when I was at the river, so this one came with a melody. My habitual writing is more like writing to a meter, so it's fun when like a little melody pops in with the song. Where does it start? Let's see. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I have a new love. With the biking challenge I did last month, I went biking along the Willamette River over along River Road. And it's like I came home one day and said, I'm in love to my daughter. She's like, what? I said, the river. It's got me. Clouds of white cottonwoods, seeds dance around me, gather like snowdrifts in piles everywhere. Sticky sweet cottonwood buds I'm a-smellin', sweet scent of cottonwood floats in the air. La-di-da-di-da-da. Passing time this afternoon. La-di-da-di-da-da. Leaves in the cottonwoods dancing and swaying, rustling cottonwoods over my head. One by one cottonwood leaves come a-floating down from above me till they get wet. La-di-da-di-da-da. Passing time this afternoon. La-di-da-di-da-da. Leaves bob like baby ducks over the rapids, bobbing like baby ducks down to the sea. I'm glad for cottonwood roots I can lay on to watch all that's going on all around me. La-di-da-di-da-da. Passing time this afternoon. La-di-da-di-da-da. La-di-da-di-da-da. Passing time this afternoon. La-di-da-di-da-da.
Nice. Good.
That I was literally sitting there watching the leaves go down the rapids, and that little thing came in the head, bobbing like baby ducks over the rapids.
That's good.
Hi, Gabe.
Hello.
You're identified as Ocean though, so
I sent out the wrong link last week. Everybody logged in under me.
It's another
I
ocean.
fixed you.
I like your
I fixed it.
Astro background. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I forgot how to get on this thing, so I had to surf and find the old link.
With a fake ID.
So apparently I got in here with it.
Everybody last week logged in with my name just because I sent the link from my email.
Sure.
Well, it's such a great.
Well, you guys
Everybody.
heard it. You're the first people who ever heard it. It's like a kid's song, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you can finally hear me. And Dharmic, I wanted to ask you that. So your lyrics that you write for these songs, you write the lyrics and then you think of music to go with it, or
Well, that's how I've traditionally written. That one it came to me while I was at the river. Bobbing like, I was watching the leaves and it was like bobbing like baby ducks over rapids. These little leaves were just sort of floating along. And then I was sitting under the cottonwoods, so rustling cottonwoods, so those
That
three of those, most of those verses had written themselves before I went home. And then I put it together at night, and then I think the chorus is pretty cool. That came later. That had to
Mhm.
I
sure.
had to draw that in later.
Yeah, I really like it.
But it's got that three the timing of three. It's like a sea shanty.
Yeah,
Da, 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 da,
I was
da,
gonna
da.
say.
I have a lot of. I
Little
gotta
whistle.
stop. I gotta stop writing songs like that. Actually, I really need some other
No,
rhythm.
I
Bunch
did.
You said it was the
I
river,
actually,
right? So
I pictured myself in a pub in Cornwall with
There you
with
go.
an old guy with a concertina, maybe, and
yeah, yeah, exactly.
you know,
But
it,
I
but
think half of the 10 songs I've written so far probably have three chords. I think I need to consciously like do something else.
no, no, no. Keep doing that.
Well, some of the time, yeah,
Right.
but
Oh, it's
anyway,
fun.
it's been fun. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
First
One
people
of my
here.
favorite bands is out of Seattle. Did you ever hear William Pint and Felicia Dale?
No.
Pint and Dale. Um,
Hinton Dale.
Felicia plays Hurdy Gurdy. You ever heard of Hurdy
Wow.
Yeah,
Gurdy?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They were
Wow.
talking about going to a Hurdy Gurdy festival, a room
Wow.
with hundreds of Hurdy Gurdies playing at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah.
that might be a bit much. I mean, one hurdy-gurdy
They
at a
would
time.
play. There was always at the Folklife Festival, the Northwest Court. They had this sea shanties, like all these sea shanty
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
was the last time you went to that? I haven't been to that
Oh,
since
it's been,
the 90s.
this year it's streaming the entire thing. So there's
Really?
no excuse not to
Really?
go to it. Folk Life is going to be
Yeah.
streaming on Memorial Weekend. So let's go.
Oh, that's
Wow. Wow.
awesome.
Yeah.
How do you, like, they're
Pro-
gonna have 50 different Zoom rooms for you to go
Probably
to?
just, I don't know how they're going to do it, but you just go to folklife.org or whatever. Folklife, it's the
That is
website.
awesome.
Yeah, I have a friend who's going to
Wow.
be he's in the Native American poetry part of it. So he was posting about that. It just sounds, it's going to be wonderful.
Cool.
Who's
Yeah.
that? What's his name?
Skylar Reed. Yeah, he's from Philomath. He's from here, but he's up in Seattle too. He's trying to get into school up there, and yeah, he's great.
Jeff, did you ever
Gabe,
go
got
when you were
anything
in
for us?
Seattle? To folk?
Gabe, you're on next.
Hey,
Uh,
Gabe.
um,
Your timing is
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, you showed up just in time.
Absolutely.
okay. Yeah. Um, I was off on a hike and actually writing music. So let's see.
I will
I think,
be right back.
yeah, I was working on this new album that has a lot to do with bending fire. And what does that even mean? And that's part of the real fun thing about this particular album is most of it, I have no idea what it means. And I love that. And I'm gonna leave it that way. We can try to make sense of it, but I believe that a portal is my goal for this one. And if we know what's happening, there's no portal. And so all I know is that lions, this epic moment and this feeling of like noble lions turns out in this teacher and this student wizard in the wild and all this music and interesting. It's kind of like The Apprentice and the Mickey Mouse Fantasia, that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And all of a sudden, it turns out that lions were made from bending fire, and so these angles and these noble, it slows down and it's cool and trippy. I'm having a blast. But until then, maybe I'll just do this. I like bending and playing and stretching into. I like this instrument. It'll be in that album. It's a very silence moments of just like, yeah, kind of like you might have felt some of that in the Dark Crystal movie. They recognized, and actually this album has feels of that. I'm having a blast. So that's what I have to offer.
Awesome. There you go. You come and go
Off
from
you
the
went.
background, Gabe. You fade in and out of your background, like your shoulders and all kind of disappear. So as you're playing, that whole bending fire thing is almost actually taking place right here on the screen.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm learning how to be a Cheshire cat.
There you go. Yeah. Just yeah, that's perfect.
So, Gabe, what was that instrument? I mean, a flute, of course, but it looks like it's like a flattened flute, or I mean, does it have a name? Or
Well, let's see. That one would be. So I got these from Spirit Flutes, and they were supposed to be in 432, so I could play them. And none of them. I have a couple of them. None of them were in 432, so I actually had to learn how to tune them, which is very interesting.
Oh boy.
So if I wanted to make money, making them now that I know how to do it, I was trying to convince my friend Wizard, but alas, he wasn't too interested. It didn't seem to take with him. But I tuned those, and it's just it's a Native American flute. I love the Ecuadorian flutes because there's a little more challenging because you have to blow into it like a flute. These particular Native American ones have like the built-in reed, but that actually limits how much voicings. I find I can get way more voices out of one that I have to breathe just right into. But there's something about the Native American flute. It's very warm. It's very soothing.
beautiful.
Yeah. So I got a couple of them in different keys. And when I do start performing out, I'm very excited that I'm very excited too that Kaylin's excited to work with me. And I'm building a band that when we're able to, I want to go on the road, and I want to do something on the Pink Floyd, Roger Waters size. I'm dreaming big. I worked really hard to make the money to do it. I'm gonna have to blow it all to do it, but I think I can actually do it. And the reason it might take all the money is because of I'm building a team, and I'm promising to pay them well to go on tour. And I'm hoping that I can pay them with the money of the tour. But in the past, when I had 12 people working for me and Ladders to the Moon seemed to be happening, and I had Wildrose Studios, something really scary happened. They started wanting me to, they started asking me, so am I going to be able to get paid to do this work? And it's like, I don't know. I just do it for fun. How can I promise you to get paid for art? That's a very strange concept, though one we all dream of, I think. I've managed to make a living as a musician on my own, but never enough to buy land or do anything other than survive. And suddenly I've got a dozen people that believe in me, and that's really neat. Actually, what really caught me off guard is I kind of come up with this punk rock kind of thing or Johnny Cash kind of vibe where it's like I always had opposition. I had something I had to resist, and that actually gave me direction. It actually told me who I was. Everything that I thought I was a rebel. And then suddenly everyone was like, we like what you're doing, proceed. And I didn't know how to proceed, and they were like, just direct us. I was like, I don't know how to direct you because I have no idea where we're going, because all of you are smiling at me going, right on. I'm like, someone tell me I can't do something. You tell me I can't do something, and I'll tell you exactly how we're going to do it. But that was an interesting thing to run into. And so now I promised myself when I stepped down from all that. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I started meditating at that time in my life, but it was kind of an excuse. People would come ask me questions like, how do we do this? And how are we going to film that? And I'm like, I'm meditating. And it's like, but Gabe, you're meditating all day, every day now. I'm like, no, I'm kind of hiding too. But now, if I can afford to promise them, yes, you work for me and this is going to be a lot of fun, and I promise you this much money, and I'll be able to do it. I was so scared of letting everyone down that I spent a year making a Kickstarter. Instead of, I'm just an artist, I make art and storytell, but I spent a year of my life, and it whittled me down something fierce, trying to make a Kickstarter on how to raise money so we could do art. And when the video, I even had a director make it, and I watched the video, and I didn't have a shirt on the whole time and all these different things. And for the first time in my life, I put a shirt on because this requests me to have a shirt on, but I don't really wear shirts if it feels good outside. I'm a solar panel. But man, asking people for money and looking at me parading around like a joker with a gang, with no shirt felt really amateur. And I was really embarrassed to be asking for money and I couldn't even put on a shirt. So I looked back at that and was like, I'm not a businessman. I'm an artist. I'm a freedom fighter. I'm exploring expression, and I'm an epiphany addict. So I'm just being real with myself these days. But I do have enough money to take this adventure at this point. And I might be totally broke afterwards, but you know what? I was always broke my whole life. So, in fact, if this is it, in this little human existence, this little bubble of a beautiful journey that we're on, if this is it, when it comes time to, I think I'll be fine with the, like opening a thing of Pringles, as long as I can say, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it. We went out there and we gave people smiles. We did the adventures and dreamed. And I've had a few artists remind me, we don't have to be Walt Disney. We don't have to have all the money in the world. I think I've overdone it, actually. Don't forget that we're just playing. I mean, in fact, what I'm about to start doing is showing you a lot of paper cutout artwork in layers and always breaking the rules. I was like, oh, it has to be two-dimensional. I was like, oh, no. The second you say that, we got to do it. We got to break the rule. Yeah, I'm at a place I feel so creative that I can't even play you a song because I just want to talk to you about art and symbolism and society in a playful way. Because if we don't stay playful and flirt and laugh, we ain't gonna make it. Because there's a lot of serious things that we have to dive and swim in, but also take breaks.
So true.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Back.
Did that qualify as my turn?
Sounds
Okay,
awesome.
cool.
Now I'll read something. My turn.
Yes. All right.
I've been waiting because I didn't really want to do anything.
Oh.
I'm going to
Can
read
you
from
get a
this
little
book
closer
again.
to your mic?
Is that any better?
Yeah.
Got to talk into it. This book I've been reading a lot. David White.
Okay.
Right.
He lives in Puget Sound, one of those islands. I don't know which one. But it's a book. He's a poet, but this one is like a bunch of essays. And I just want to show you, it's like consolations, the solace, nourishment, and underlining meaning of everyday words. And he does each of these words and just writes a little amazing little essay. Can you see the words?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And Gabe said he was like meditating, so I just flipped to this one called hiding. That's kind of what I've been doing. I've been just like hibernating, like this. I've been spending this pandemic flat on my back, sleeping, just trying to reemerge, but I'm not ready yet. It's like I'm, hiding. David White. Hiding is a way of staying alive. Hiding is a way of holding ourselves until we are ready to come into the light. Hiding is one of the brilliant and virtuoso practices of almost every part of the natural world. The protective quiet of an icy northern landscape, the held bud of a future summer rose, the snowbound internal pulse of the hibernating bear. Hiding is underestimated. We are all hidden by life in our mother's womb until we grow and ready ourselves for our first appearance in the lighted world. To appear too early in that world is to find ourselves with the immediate necessity of outside intensive care. Hiding done properly is the internal, faithful promise for a proper future emergence as embryos, as children, or even as emerging adults in retreat from the names that have caught us and imprisoned us, often in ways where we have been too easily seen and too easily named. We live in a time of the dissected soul, the immediate disclosure, our thoughts, imaginings, longings exposed to the light too much, too early, and too often. Our best qualities squeezed too soon into the world, already awash with ideas that oppress our sense of self and our sense of others. What is real is almost always to begin with hidden and does not want to be understood by the part of the mind that mistakenly thinks it knows what is happening. What is precious inside us does not care to be known by the mind in ways that diminish its presence. Hiding is an act of freedom from the misunderstanding of others, especially in the enclosing world of oppressive secret government and private entities, attempting to name us, to anticipate us, to leave us with no place to hide and grow in ways unimagined by a creeping necessity for absolute naming, absolute tracking, and absolute control. Hiding is a bid for independence from others, from mistaken ideas we have about ourselves, from an oppressive and mistaken wish to keep ourselves completely safe, completely I'm going to read that one again. Hiding is a bid for independence from others, from mistaken ideas we have about ourselves, from an oppressive and mistaken wish to keep us completely safe, completely ministered to, and therefore completely managed. Hiding is creative, necessary, and beautiful, subversive. Hiding is, his words, it's kind of like a tongue twist. Hiding is creative, necessary, and beautifully subversive of outside interference and control. Hiding leaves life to itself, to become more of itself. Hiding is the radical interdependence necessary for our emergence into the light of a proper human future. It's just like 3 pages, you know. But I feel like that's what this pandemic shutdown is. It's like all of us are supposed to be hiding right now. We're not supposed to be out there. We're not supposed to be interacting. We're supposed to be like retreat. And what do you do in retreat? You stop. Stop, breathe, let go of everything I've ever assumed about anything. And it's terrifying. And I've been, just numb and in shock, and also like shockingly aware of how much I expect everything to just go its certain way. And now it's totally up in the air what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Lots of open-ended.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I don't know if Dawn knows, but Ocean's a restaurateur. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, Dawn, but yeah, so
we've talked.
Yeah.
Definitely affected. He was the door slammed shut on him quick, right?
Well, the thing that it's hard because I'm kind of a social media, I'm the political posting, all that. But then I'm like, whoa, like, how am I ever going to open the doors to have customers want to sit at a table next to someone else when the air we breathe out can carry the angel of death?
Yeah.
That's what this virus is so scary. So it's like we have a long path to get to the place where, Gabe, you want to go on tour, you want a crowd full of people to listen to you. It's a long time until people will want to be in a big crowd again, unless we just try to pretend it's not going to happen. But then you do pretend that, and then there's these outbreaks, and everything is like, it's a new world. It's a new reality. But then what do we make out of it? How do we go inward and use this to, obviously the reality we were in the unsustainability of it, it didn't have a long-term prognosis that was too very positive.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
Ocean,
guess I'm crazy because everybody's just living like me now, and so and
Out in the woods.
any of you might, yeah. So
Join the club.
I mean, I personally, I'm not even doing this because I believe in what we're currently talking about. I'm just courteous enough to know that I'm not going to argue with anybody if we believe differently on what's really happening. I'm not sure any of us really know. I have my own thoughts, but I think it's important that we're respectful to each other at the end of the day. And so if social distancing is what we're doing, I'm realizing that I was doing that anyways. I come in twice a week and now I don't, which I'm still doing pretty much what I did at Fireworks with this. And I don't do a static dance anymore, but I do more than ever outside by myself or in my kitchen. My house, I'm very fortunate that it's big enough and I have like padding all over the place because I'm kind of like an acrobat these days. So it's like, yeah, I have room to dance and express and listen to music. I see a lot of people struggling with the time to themselves, and I feel for them. When I was married for 10 years, and so I got used to having a partner. And when I got a divorce, I wrote Metamorphosis for a reason, that album, because I was really hurting, scared to be alone, and not okay with being alone either. And in time, I actually learned how to be alone. And I wish that for all of us, because I think I'd way more likely be able to have a healthy relationship with someone now that I know how to be alone, so that I'm not with them for the wrong reason.
right. Yeah.
The first word, and I read that before, I'll read it another time. The first word in the book is alone. And in fact, after hiding comes loneliness and longing. It's
Wow. Perfect book
Did you
for
want to
now.
read it?
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
I'm sick of being alone.
So,
I understand. I celebrate spending time with people, but I also have learned to lean into what I find works for me. I don't know what it's like to be any of you, but for me, at first, when I'm used to being around people, even now, if I'm hanging out with somebody, I get attached. And then when it's time to let go, there's suffering, and the attachment leads to suffering. So what I first have learned for me is it's always scary to go back to alone. It's just like silence is scary. But when you lean into it, you will laugh when you lean in, because you get to see yourself. And what happens for me is, I wanted to do this. I forgot I wanted to do that because I got so busy and distracted by all the hubbub. And then suddenly you're doing something you actually want to do. Like today, I cried. I sat down on a stump and watched the sky going by in the clouds. And I forgot that is such a beautiful thing. And I don't have anyone with me. I'm sitting there in the wilderness on a mountain by myself on my back. It's my backyard, actually. I feel very fortunate. And wow, the clouds, it was so epic. And it's like that happens all the time. And we forget to just go be present with it. And how could I feel alone when I'm surrounded by such beauty? And I could have not leaned into that. I could have not gone for that little loop walk, or but there again, like I'm willing to admit, I think it's easier for me too, because I can go into some wilderness. I think some people are, now the term would not be landlocked anymore. You're kind of what would we call that? Concrete blocked? I don't know.
City locked.
You're city locked.
Concrete jungle.
And
Right.
yeah, concrete jungle. Is anyone here locked in the city?
I was in Seattle for a while. That was pretty. Yeah, that was an eye opener. It was
Yeah, I
in
bet.
Ballard, no less. But
Wow.
yeah, I moved there for the life and the excitement, and
Oh,
stopped. So yeah.
and
I'm
it's
Currently, everyone has a little bit of some wilderness.
yeah, I'm about 6 miles east of Bellingham, up in the hills, and it's all cedar and hemlock and
Yeah.
Douglas fir forest around here. So we're very lucky because we can walk out our door and there's no traffic at all right now. Like, 2 or 3 cars a day, or I don't, not very many cars, but and can walk to trails from our house. So we're very lucky. I can't even fathom what it would be like to be. I see these images on the news of people dealing with walking out your door, say in New York City, and there are people everywhere. I have no idea what would be like. I just really feel for anybody who's in that kind of situation.
Mm.
You can imagine. Yeah, we're very lucky. So Ocean, you read a letter to us that you wrote to yourself. I think you wrote it dated last November or October.
Oh, that letter,
Is that
right.
right? Yeah. So have you thought about writing a letter to yourself now?
I need to
Have you
write.
done
I
that?
haven't been doing any writing.
I was thinking
I'm
about that
sleeping
the other
on-
day.
I'm
No.
sleeping.
Well, how interesting that would
Yeah.
be. I mean, you should write to yourself
Yeah.
next year about what you're feeling right now. I think it would be a really, kind of a good experience for it. And I have to tell you this. I don't mean to seem insensitive. It's a sad little thing, but it's also funny, I think. Anyway, so there's this high school senior, 17-year-old, writing in his or her journal, January 1st, 2020 is going to be the best year of my life. March 29th, just wiped my butt with a coffee filter.
Oh.
Pretty sad.
It is.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the idea of looking into the future like that. I mean, look at your future self. I really like that what you did, because I've never done that.
Yeah.
But I think it would be a really good time to do it now because, as you said, Gabe, none of us have any idea what things are going to be like, or even to really remember what you're experiencing right now, which is a very it's hard to view it as a valuable experience, just like that wasp stinging my knuckle last night. But it's transformative. It's something that you're going to hopefully look back on and say, that's a really intense feeling that I had in May of 2020. And thank God I'm not there now. But I think it would be a good time to do that. I should do that myself. Write myself a letter. I think it's good at any time.
I was actually, I know some people who are struggling right now, and I was actually going to mention that too. I was thinking about Ocean's letter. A while back, you'd read one of those from it, or that you'd sent yourself.
Yeah,
My
I did.
mom-
Yeah, it was
Yeah, my
sent to me
mom
by this workshop.
really
we
having
had.
a hard time with this stuff, and I was gonna suggest that to her because I think it's just a way to kind of get outside your head a little bit, and
Hmm.
whatever's been with all that echoing that's going on right now, kind of just get rid of that, and
Well, I've been keeping a journal since high school, and I've got boxes of them. And
Mm.
every now and then I go back and I read chapters of my
Wow.
life. But it was something I was
Interesting.
working with this counselor coach, and it was a couple years back. I was just lost in anxiety, broken heart. You're like, she was giving me all this support and like remember one time I was just like bemoaning the lost love, and she's just like, "Ocean, the comfort you seek will not be found in the arms of another." But it was like, connect with nature, connect with nature. And then I was like, Gabe would help. Did you plant some of those trees with Zach, Gabe? Did you come up and plant some of those redwoods?
Yeah.
So I was like talking about this vision I have. I put these sequoias on the land. I had to log it to pay the mortgage and all that. But I bought these sequoias out of Northern California, the Sequoia sempervirens, the coast redwoods, because I'm in the Coast Range. It's a rainforest here. And they grow 2 feet a year, 2 or 3 feet a year. They're just like,
Wow.
so then I was like, there's a local permaculture, Alan Capular, who's just, he said redwoods used to go all the way from British Columbia down to Northern California, and then the Ice Age pushed them down. It's like it killed them off. It was too cold. But there used to be redwoods everywhere, and I was like, well, right now we've got a drought, kind of a hot climate showing up with lots of carbon dioxide, and the Doug firs that are dominant in Oregon are dying. So then I got this idea that these redwoods I planted on this particular slope here are going to become like tall, like 300-foot. So this is 1,000 years from now.
Yeah.
These trees are giants, and they actually are seeding. I'm on the edge of Mary's Peak, the tallest mountain in Oregon. So all these redwoods that we planted here are seeding the entire Oregon Coast Range. And I was telling my coach this. She's like, "Oh, you're in deep time right now. Deep time is when you think way, way past this experience, like 1,000 years."
Yeah.
And I'm right now in a cob house, and Yonto Evans, who helped us build this, says, when you build a cob house, you need to think 1,000 years it's going to be around. These are medieval buildings from Wales. Like the earth building is rot resistant, it's insect resistant, it is fire resistant. You're building a building that could last 500 to 1,000 years. So it's like, we don't think that far. I can barely think to tomorrow, or like you said, write a letter to myself next year. Well, I want to write a letter to 7 generations from now. Like, who is going to be here on this land 500 years from now?
That's the theory of the message in the bottle, right? You write the letter and throw it out, and somewhere. And
then you focus your consciousness way beyond, this particular anxiety I'm in right now.
Well, see, but you just did it. We become escape artists in the sense that we can be consumed with suffering, but then when we go deeper, we find something we're interested in. And then you're curious. You're like, I wonder what would be like. And suddenly to give is to live, and to live is to give. Like you're picturing doing something and someone else benefiting from it. And you start feeling good. And suddenly, so we create our own suffering. We also can create our own bliss.
Indeed.
I'm having bliss tea right now.
I have a song for this subject.
Oh, good. Dharmika, a song. Yes.
Oh, this is not from this month.
Gabe, Dharmika is writing a song every day in May. She's writing a song every day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Yeah, this was, let's see, I went to some music, when was it? It was last fall sometime. And I listened to some beautiful music, wonderful songwriters, on Saturday night. Carrie Patrick Clark came to house concerts we've been doing in Eugene called Two Blue Roses. And also Michael Hall, who's a songwriter in Eugene. And the next day I went to a concert with Farron. Any of you guys remember Farron? She was a wonderful, in the women's community since like the 80s. Anyway, after her show, I was so opened up that I just was like, all right, I've got to just sit with this. So this came out of that, and it just kind of fits what we've been talking about here. I think I kind of, let's see how it goes here. Yeah, there was also some interesting chords, and I haven't played them in a while, and I don't know how that's gonna go. Let's see. Let me just take a minute here and see if I can. Let's see. All right, we'll see. We'll see how the chords go. I don't get like this too often anymore. When you sang tonight, you opened up a door with walls too thick for anyone to know that someone's home. But you reached in and tears began to pour. Bring me to that hidden empty space where in silence we might feel a tender place. I tremble looking down that hole, the twisted cavern of my soul that opens to an ever-present grace. In the silence of our common heart, we know where we are going. But the grace that's brought us just this far will follow it back home. I find it when I float upon the water, in the wind on the mountain top. Sometimes I imagine it's in all of us to join with grace, make this madness stop. Indeed, we have no choice but to embrace it while we race ahead with breakneck speed. It's far beyond too late, but we can choose our fate. We hear just what our great-grandchildren need. In the silence of our common heart, we know where we are going. With the grace that's brought us just this far, we'll follow it back home. The silence of our common heart, we know where we are going. With the grace that's brought us just this far, we'll follow it back home.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Really nice.
Thank you. Wow.
I would be willing to share a song as well if we have time. Okay.
We do. Come on, Gabe.
Okay. All right.
Guitar handy? There it is.
Guitar just beamed in from outer space.
Yeah, Star Trek guitar.
So one day I shared on here with you guys a poem called "Here in My Hands," but it has music, and for some reason it just said, "Hey, I want to be played." So let's see if I can do it. Let's see. Here in my hand, here in my hand. Here in my hands, there is left, there is right, many suits, many hats, a collection of many keys. Endeavor human, there's a prison with no bars, and a list of what they see. They will see what they want to see. A list of things they need. Here in my hand. Here in my hand. Sadness, laughter. Here in my hand. Something matters. Here in my hand. Here in my hand. Here in my hand. In my hand. Here in my hands are the prints of a map. Yes, these fingers tell stories through channels of indented tracks to be read, to be playful like animals, stretching to be pet with a combing that's treasured like vinyls, revealing their hidden vibrations when woken and struck by the sense of unlocking another. At least that's how it feels when you touch my hands. Here in my hands, with your hands. Here in my hands, your hands. Here in my hand, your hand.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Thanks, Gabe.
Good.
I love that song.
Cool, thank you.
Good.
How perfect. It's like
Yeah.
here in our hands, right?
That's just great.
Well, great
It's all
work.
in our hand.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad I caught y'all. I understand you want
I'm
to.
glad you did too.
Okay, yeah. And I get it. Me invite more people, like you said last week. I don't know who to invite because I don't really get to see anybody.
Well, just share it.
Yep.
You're
Yeah,
probably
I
not
took.
wasting time on Facebook. Yeah.
I've been taking a large break from all that because of
Good.
Good
Good.
thing.
That's bad. You
yeah.
Good idea.
stay off the matrix. It's really important.
I've got some close friends that have totally checked out and said until this is over, they're just not going to do Facebook.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, it's hard on our bodies to be stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's part of our minds.
It's yeah. And our minds are hard on our bodies, so yeah. Well, yeah.
Shall we wrap it up for tonight?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you,
everybody
guys.
for coming.
Yeah. It's good seeing everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do it again next Monday.
Yes. Good
I'll be
fingers.
shift. I couldn't commute from Eugene for the what is it, the Tap House one. It starts at 7.
Yes.
I go to that for a
You
while.
can hop.
Then I go,
hop
I'm
open
going to
mic.
Corvallis now. They were all like, drive safe.
Very good. It was great seeing everybody.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Watch out for murder hornets.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one. Yes.
Watch it.
New-
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you guys
And
next
knuckle stinging wasps.
And
week. Oh God.
Ow.
Way better.
let those
All right.
fingers mend. Yeah.
Good to spend time with you guys. Absolutely.
All right.
That's
Good
sweet.
night.
Night.
Bye bye.